Well, good evening on my birthday. It was a long day. We are just in the hotel, ready with dinner, and I had a nice birthday cake. The chef made it for us, and yeah, it's always kind of weird if you celebrate your birthday in a stage race. But I had fun. Like, of course, this morning the girls were singing for me, and when we arrived at the start, like on the podium, Letitia asked the presentator, like, it's her birthday, so yeah, then the song came up, happy birthday, and everybody was singing for me, and then the girls like pulled me up, and yeah, I had fun. It was pretty funny. And yeah, it's always good when your teammates are thinking about your birthday, because you are away from home so like long. And I cannot even remember when I celebrated my birthday at home the last time. It's always on the way. But this was a fun one. Yeah, and then the race, it started like crazy fast. We tried to have on a to the climb, and yeah, Dennis was looking for a gruppetto again, and in the end, we had a really big group. I think we were with 60 riders, and yeah, we all had the same goal, of course, go to the finish. But if you have a climb in a stage so early, you still need to pedal pretty hard to get on time. And but I think we actually did that, and got a lot of happy birthdays on the way. So I said, yeah, in this gruppetto, you're all invited on my birthday party, so bring me to the finish safely. Yeah, it was a long day, a hard day, some scary downhills, I have to say. And you probably also have seen that with the crashes that happened in the downhill. But luckily in our group, it went pretty well. And went safe to the finish on time. Try to save as much as possible, as far as you can, if you have to climb so much. So yeah, that was the big birthday present for me, to do the Queen stage. And yeah, I definitely do not feel 35 yet. But luckily everybody that asked me how old are you now? And I said my age, they were like, no, that's not true. So I hope they were not lying to me. Well, now getting ready for bed. To hang my laundry first. I always hate that. I always I do it later. But yeah, you really have to hang out your laundry. It's actually funny. I always pack so many stuff, and I have a big suitcase full of everything, but I'm actually wearing the same clothes every single day. So I think next time I can only bring a backpack, and that's enough. But anyway. Oh yeah, and of course my teddy bear always needs to come with me. Yeah, 35, still sleeping with a teddy bear. Well, that was my my birthday. Gonna get ready for bed, have a good night of sleep, and get ready for tomorrow. See you then.
We started off this episode with an audio diary from Nina Kessler about stage 5, which was also her birthday. Happy birthday to Nina Kessler. Hannah Barnes, stage 6. We are over halfway through this thing, and I can't remember what stage it is. Can you remember which stage it is?
No, it's just like being a bike rider at the race too.
It doesn't help that the tour is going on at the same time and they're one stage behind. So it throws off your brain,
Yeah, and there's a lot more about the Tour de France on everyone's Twitter feed, unfortunately. So
that's very true. People ask me actually why these episodes are on the Wheel Talk podcast alone, because usually we have all of the episodes on the Escape feed for every Escape Collective podcast, but I put these solo on the Wheel Talk feed because with the Tour Daily podcasts, I was afraid they would get eclipsed by Tour Mania, and so that's why they're on their own. I wanted to give them their own space to breathe, so if anyone was wondering, that is why. Tell your friends.
Yeah, it's hard. Like the Giro is always the exact same time of the first week of the tour, and it's hard to compete with that,
But it's
unfortunately.
also like, where would you move the Giro dates and so it doesn't have to compete? There's not really a great spot on the calendar. I mean, I wrote a story on escapecollective.com about the issues that women's cycling faces, and I said that there shouldn't be any race during the tour, that like the Giro should happen after the tour and the women's Tour de France should happen at the end of the season. I don't know if that's yeah, I know. It's tricky.
It's hard. I mean, it could go into June because there isn't much racing in June for us. But it's hard. It's always going to be one of those races, especially that there's not a lot of media attention around it, not loads of broadcasts either. So it is hard to get, yeah, a lot of people's attention, unfortunately, even though the girls are racing so well, but it's just, yeah, it's hard to compete.
I think the reason that in my brain it works later on in the season is because there's all of the entire season like builds up to the Tour de France Femme, and everything that comes after it is an afterthought, literally. Like people just don't really pay attention to those races after the Tour de France Femme. So in my mind, if it's the last stage race before Worlds, then there's more build up into it. There's more hype and people pay more attention until it, because it's always going to be, now that it exists, it's always going to be the biggest race on the women's calendar.
Yeah, it is. And a lot of people are going to use like the tour this year is going to be preparation going into the Worlds because they're just so close as well. So yeah, it's hard. Like last year, my team asked me, they said, what do you want to do? The tour of the Giro? And I said, the Giro, because there's going to be so much media attention and hype around the tour that I was just like, I just want to go to a race and I just want to race. And they were like, okay. I mean, I ended up doing both. So I got the best of both worlds. But yeah, it was a little bit overwhelming. You're not used to having that many cameras and TV and yeah, just everyone there. So yeah, it's pretty cool, but it takes a little getting used to.
For us, we're focused on the Giro, and today's stage 6 was a really awesome stage. There was a ton of action. It was not a breakaway day, but it was an Annemiek van Vleuten day. She won solo by 20 seconds over Lorena Wiebes. What a legend. And Liana Lippert took third. There was a pretty big group of chasers behind Van Vleuten, including Soraya Paladin, Sylvia Persico, Niamh Fisher-Black, Mavi Garcia, and San Esteban. Fen Van Empel led in another group of favorites. So yeah, pretty crazy day. Another GC day, kind of in that Van Vleuten gained more time on the general classification. And also, unfortunately, I think that the runner-up spot in the GC is cursed. Lidl-Trek released a statement last night after the stage that Elisa Longo-Borghini had gone to the hospital and undergone a bunch of x-rays and checkups on her head and the rest of her body. The side that she hit was in a good bit of pain, so she got that checked out. She has no fractures, no broken bones or anything, and the head scans came back clear, so she shouldn't have any concussion. They're still they said they were monitoring her overnight for signs of a concussion and that they would make the call in the morning. And when it came morning, she still has no signs of a concussion, but because the pain that she was in from the side that she hit, they decided it was the best call for her not to race. So Elisa Longo-Borghini, stage 4 winner, did not start the stage on stage 6. And yeah, unfortunately, Antonia Niedermeyer crashed as well today on stage 6 pretty hard and was forced to abandon pretty much immediately. So the Giro definitely taking its toll on some of the riders.
Yeah, it's just this sport. You can be riding, you can just be on cloud 9 and then within hours just crashing literally, yeah, to the bottom. It's such a shame. She would have just been such a high yesterday, and Cayon SRAM, like for them to have a second place in GC, they wouldn't have been expecting that at all. So, and I also saw footage of the crash, and I'm not really sure what happened. It seemed like it was a bit just happened in the middle of the bunch. So, yeah, it's such a shame. I mean, I hope she's okay. I'm not sure what her injuries are yet, but hopefully they're not too serious.
Lauretta Hanson of the Lidl-Trek team checked in before the race. So let's hear from Lauretta.
Oh man, sport and especially cycling can be brutal. Stage 4, we celebrated a win, and then yesterday, unfortunately, we lost our leader, Elisa Longo-Borghini, in a crash, 7Ks to go. Like, she finished the stage, but in the end, they decided it was better for her not to start. She's pretty sore. She's been through all her concussion checks and been to the hospital, and she's okay, but just quite a bit of pain, so there was no sense in starting. So that sucks. Like, we were in a really good position to fight for pink, but yeah, it's racing, unfortunately. Like, the most important thing is that she's okay. But yeah, so it means we kind of changed tact a little bit. Like, we've still got Gaia in fifth, a couple of minutes down, so we've still got something to fight for and still some options to play. And then there are still some good stages coming to potentially try and get another stage win for us. But today we have stage 6. It's going to be a fun day. I think there's going to be some tired legs after yesterday. Yesterday was quite a hard day for everyone, and there's Lizzie said she's raced around here before, and her first thought is a roller coaster. Like, it's a lot of twisty, windy roads, up, down, small. So potentially a good day for the breakaway, but we're going to do our best to keep guys safe and maybe play for the stage win. So we'll see how it goes.
Awful to see. The replays were just horrendous. We don't need to see that, but hopefully she'll be okay. And it looked like the team was really quick to get to her, and she couldn't even get back on her bike. So a major bummer. And ahead of the race, Van Vleuten was attacking, and man, she really attacked those 2 final climbs. She was like full gas up the entirety of the final climb where she made her move, and the climb to the finish. That was pretty short, but she still just was like...
Yeah, like Johan Cruyff said once, the best form of defense is attack. So yeah, if you've got the jersey, then the best way to keep it is just to go up the road again on your own. So it's pretty impressive that she can do that, but I'm probably more impressed by Lorena, to be honest. She could just do all sorts of terrain. I would say, like, already, I reckon she's going to be world champion in a month's time. I just can't
I think she would be a worthy world champion, though.
I mean, she would. She's just class. Like, sometimes you can look at the profile if you're a sprinter and just look at a profile and be like, oh, can't do anything in this race. But I just don't think she looks at any of those stages like that. She's just like, give it to me.
Yeah, I mean, today was like a pretty hard day with 3 climbs and a climb to the finish. And that climb to the finish there were, I think, 16% slopes in it. But that's just like a classics climb, which is something that she's good at. So, but when she came around the corner towards the finish, it was like a bat out of hell.
Yeah.
Like, she was like, I mean, it was really impressive.
No, it's cool. I mean, she was actually in Girona a few months ago just doing gravel races, which was funny. Like, I went to the bottom of the hill climb gravel race and she was there. So I just thought, you know what? That's pretty cool that, like, she's showing that you can have fun out there and also just rip races.
It's important to have fun. I think a lot of people like lose touch of, and Van Vleuten is a rider who I think like has a lot of fun racing her bike. Her interview after the race was hilarious. She was asked if she wanted to dedicate this victory to anyone, which is a question that every winner has been asked at the finish of this race, and it just cracks me up.
Oh.
But the interviewer asked her if she wanted to dedicate the win to anyone, and Annemiek said no.
Me?
Yeah.
I'm the one that worked hard.
It was really funny.
Oh, it's so good.
She was also asked, if it was the plan, and she said, well, the team came to me and said that they wanted to attack, and I like to attack. And in my head, I was like, no shit.
Could you imagine their team radio or like the team talk the morning of? Just like, so what's the plan today? Same as yesterday? I did see a lot of X trying to get up the road today. I think they had like every single member of the team just trying to get up there, which I did say would happen. I think it's our team, they just like to have a go, like you never know unless you try. So I was pleased to see them having a little go up the road.
Yeah, Eleanor Barker was the final rider to be swept up from the breakaway, and she was out there for a good bit of time and then pretty much immediately onto the front on the final climb to work for the team. It was great to see.
She came in
inspirational.
she came into the race. She was sick for the first few days. So yeah, she would have been disappointed with that because she trained really hard, and I knew the Giro was a big goal for her. So it's good to see her coming good again in the second part of the race.
And speaking of coming good in the second part of the race, Niamh Fisher-Black is looking better and better every single stage. She was on the attack today with Blanca Voss. The two of them were working really hard to try to get off the front, and she came in 6th on the stage. I think tomorrow looks pretty good for her, or for SC Worx. We actually have an audio diary from Niamh Fisher-Black, so let's hear really quickly from her.
Hey, Niamh here, just checking in with you about stage 6 Giro Donne. I'm sitting on the balcony of our latest hotel, looking out at the sea, the ocean. I haven't actually checked out exact geographical location, but I think we're somewhere near Genoa. But yeah, I'm tempted to go in for a wee dip after this recording. And we've already tested that the air conditioning works in this hotel, which is a big bonus from last night because my roommate and I, Blanca, did not get much sleep because it was stinking hot in our room. But that's half the challenge of the Giro. You got to deal with the hotels. And we managed to wake ourselves up for today's stage, which was hilly, but not too hilly, but definitely not easy. There was a longer climb halfway in, and it was full speed to there because I think a lot of teams wanted breakaways today, but that was not happening. There was a small one, I think, but and then a full speed descent courtesy of my teammate Blanca Voss, who's was a weapon descender today. I had struggled to keep up. And then on the final climb, it was a shorter, steep climb, but enough for Annemiek to do her usual real kick right from the bottom, and no one could quite follow. I tried, but I don't quite have the legs to match Annemiek. I hope to maybe get away before them, but as I say, it was pretty full gas all today and not really any breaks were going. Lauretta came back to the bunch afterwards, because it was the usual sort of situation. Annemiek off the front and a small group of GC riders over the top of the climb, and then all the GC riders just look at each other, which frustrates me a little bit because I know they're competing against each other, but also there's a stage win riding away from you. But anyway, we had Lauretta in the bunch, and then she finished it off for a second place for us on the short hilltop finish. It was only 800 meters, even though a couple of days ago on the Valeview it was 2.5k climb. But that's the thing with the Giro, sometimes things can change last minute. But anyway, it was an exciting day, and definitely I can feel that there's some riders are fatigued now. We're over the hump of halfway, and that was obvious to me today, especially with all this heat day to day. It's taking its toll. And tomorrow is the last day before a rest day, so I expect it to be another hard one and a bit hillier. And so, I'll check in with you after that.
I think tomorrow looks quite hard. There's 4 climbs, 2 category 3s and 2 category 2s. It goes 3-2-2-3, with the first climb being the longest, but also quite gradual. And then the final 2 climbs, the 2 and the 3, are basically just one climb. The 2 climbs up 6.5 kilometers long, averages 6%, but there are some real steep parts in there. And then it tops out with 9 kilometers to go, but the 9 kilometers to the finish is basically like a plateau on top of the climb, and then it kicks again to the finish. So it's basically like one kind of long climb, with the final category 3 is 2.6 kilometers long and averages 7.6%. There's some real steep parts in that one as well. So I think tomorrow, this is a weird age of bike racing we're in, where the breakaways, I feel like it's harder for them to try. But I think I could see an SC Worx victory tomorrow. If it's not Niamh, then like Blanca Voss is riding super well. She's not a bad climber. If she could get up the road, get ahead of the climbs, she could win the stage.
Yeah, I reckon it's going to be a breakaway day. But you never know what Van Vleuten wants to do. So
if you say it every day, then it'll be true at least once.
I just want the breakaway to just win. I just think it's so good when it's almost kind of like 2 races in one. There's a breakaway of a chance of the riders that can't win an out-and-out mountain stage, but can have a little go, and just I like it when people just dare to have a go and succeed.
This race has been very GC heavy, which is interesting because I thought initially, looking at the profiles, that the GC would be a pretty tight battle because there wasn't any like high mountain climbs, but Van Vleuten has 3 minutes on second place at the moment. And I think if she keeps riding the way that she's riding, then she's only going to get more time, and it's going to be harder and harder for anyone to close that gap. It's still pretty tight in the fight for the podium. Veronica, Ewers, again, today was kind of off the back for a bit, but saved it in the end and managed to hold on to the podium spot. As always, Veronica Ewers checked in to let us know how the day went.
Stage 6 finished, and I think we all went into the stage hoping that it would be a bit easier after yesterday and knowing that tomorrow's going to be a really tough day, but of course, being about a little over 100K, it had to be full gas all day. It was really fast, a lot of steep climbs, and I think my team went in knowing or assuming Niamh would attack on the final climb, which of course she did, and got even more of a cushion. I had the opportunity to wear the purple jersey today, or the points jersey, which was really cool, although it's not officially earned. But yeah, I was chatting with Niamh before and was joking about the podium being a tough or an interesting podium, and I said, yeah, you have a good buffer, and she said, yeah, you have some work to do. Going into tomorrow is going to be really tough. I really hope Niedermayer's okay. I didn't see the crash, but yeah, it's not great to be second on GC because of someone else's bad luck. So anyways, hope she's doing okay, and we'll see how tomorrow goes.
Juliette Lebeau is like coming up real quick on her tail, and DSM Firmenich have raced pretty well to support Juliette this week, and they were on the front a lot of today. I think they really believe that she could have got some time or got the stage today.
I think I have a feeling that Van Vleuten's potentially using this as like a really hard training block for the Tour and the Worlds.
That's a classic Van Vleuten move.
Potentially,
That's why she's attacking every day. She just needs it to be as hard as she can.
Yeah, she's probably spent a lot of time at altitude leading into this, and now she's just using like a really big block of high intensity work just to take her into the next month or so of hard racing, where she could get another Grand Tour win, I guess, at the end of the month. So that's probably what she's kind of looking at. She's not trying to, even though she's very comfortably leading the Giro, I don't think she'll be happy just to sit around and ride with the group tomorrow.
She's using it as a way to bridge the gap between her and Demi Vollering before the Tour.
Yeah, I think it's like she didn't do Swiss, so she'll be using this as like the big race block. Just 9 really hard back-to-back days going into the Tour.
Pretty hard. I think that it's the most climbing kilometers of the race. I could be wrong. Maybe the second hardest stage of the race. But definitely a challenging finish. So it'll be an exciting one to watch.
So it's 110k tomorrow with just under 2,100 meters of climbing. So it's a pretty hard one.
It's going to be a really good one. And we'll be back tomorrow to chat about it. Thanks so much. closing out this episode with an audio diary from Sarah Roy.
Hi, Abby. Sorry I missed yesterday's stage. I got a bit caught up in all the excitement with Antonia's win. That was just such an awesome day for her. We went into the stage knowing that it was a really good day. It would be a good stage for her, being so hilly. And so we did try to help her as much as we could and sort of guide her on what to do throughout the day, just because she's only 20 years old and it's really her first time. It's her first ever World Tour race, actually. So, she's a pretty quiet personality, and there's a lot of information being fired at her with what to do and how to race. So I'm not really sure how she's all taking it, but I guess pretty well, since she didn't crumble under the pressure at all yesterday and absolutely crushed it out there. So that was really, really exciting. A bit of champagne last night with the team, with all the staff. It's always, such a good sort of boost for the team, like overall, with not just the riders or the rider who wins, but I think it's, a really special reward for all of the staff that are, work so hard every day, really long days. And so it's really good for them as well. So it's nice to see everybody really happy. Then things just turned around completely today. And unfortunately, Antonia crashed out of the stage after being pretty much wiped out by another rider. I'm not really sure what happened, but they've just kind of swerved completely from one side of the road to the other side of the road and just, taken Antonia down. And she's obviously landed on her face from the footage, and she's been taken to hospital and will be okay, but obviously is has been better. So that's I haven't spoken to her yet, but for sure she'd be really upset. That really sucks, and it just shows how brutal sport is, because wow, what a turnaround. In the meantime, again, the stage today was quite hard. It, on paper, didn't look super hard, but it was raced really fast. And, it was quite aggressive from the beginning. And but we were pretty lucky to have Soraya doing really well at the front there. And she was in the main front group behind Annemiek, who was away solo after that last hard climb. And, Soraya had a really good finish to the race and finished fourth. So, it was good to see her up there. We had about a 2.5 hour transfer after. Not entirely sure where we are. Don't know where we are, but we're by the coast, by the water, in this hotel that's literally like a resort style. So very happy now, even though I personally didn't have a great day today. I did everything I could for the team in the beginning, with all the attacks and trying to get a bit of a break happening, and then was just really cooked by the time the climbs came. And 6 kilometres is just a bit long for me at the moment. So I was a bit out the hoop and not stoked on my ride when I finished, but I have since had some chocolate and been in the salt water. So spirits are lifted now, and I'm about to head in for a massage. So things could be worse. That's about it for today. Hopefully I won't forget to send you something tomorrow.